All right, so we're recording. Welcome to the Try It series. Today we have vintage bourbons. And Bob, I think, got a head start. We're going to do a 68 beam at 86 proof. What do you think about this one, Bob?
It's got kind of an undistinguished nose, but the flavor is nice and rich. It's all the classic bourbon, trademarks are there.
Yeah.
Caramel and vanilla.
It's definitely different than like today's white label. Way more flavors happening here.
Yeah, I agree.
The color is really pretty.
Yeah.
All of these are pretty dark, actually.
Yeah, the one up next is 78 Ezra Brooks. I couldn't believe how dark that was. But of course, it's in the bottles when I pour it. Yeah, this beam is really good.
I finally wised up. I've been using the same glass for these tastings, so I'm constantly pouring water into it. And, I've got a whole sleeve of little plastic shot glasses.
That's smart. I have a whole bunch of those around here somewhere, but yeah,
they're very handy.
Using the same glasses too for some reason. It's a really good idea, Bob.
I had a friend over last summer, and we poured him a shot, and we were talking. We were sitting out in the front yard, and he says, "Why are you using plastic shot glasses?" And I said, "Because we're outside." And he's like, "No, good bourbon should always go in glass."
Some people are sticklers for that, but I'm like, I don't care. It's what's in the glass that matters. But It makes a difference for some people, and to each their own. Like I was traveling a couple of summers ago for work, and like those hotel like paper cups, I was like, those will work.
Right.
Drink bourbon out of a lot of those. All right, let's open up that 78 Ezra Brooks. It looks a lot lighter in the glass. Maybe it was just a dark bottle that I had.
Well, I'm getting very little nose on this one.
Yeah, not a lot. I'm just getting like your basic vanillas and corns out of this one.
Very light.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's light. There's not a lot of like flavor there for me.
Well, that's an 80 proof too. That could be part of it.
Yeah, that's true.
It's pleasant.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Bill, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking Heaven Hill.
Okay.
Yeah, Bill got a big head start on his samples.
Yeah. I don't know how long ago these were sent out. I need to go through my list of stuff.
They've been here a while. Like I tried to organize all mine and just kind of line them up in date order. They've been on my bar cart for a couple months now, so totally.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I always put mine inside of a separate Ziploc bag, small, like a lunch sandwich or something. Put the date on it.
I try to leave mine in the bags with a date, and I just kind of line them up on my bar cart on the bottom, because I'm like, if I put them on the shelf, they're going to get drank. But at least here, I feel like they're a little organized, and they stack up quick sometimes. All right, that Ezra Brooks, Bob, like I'm not super impressed. It's not bad. It's pleasant, but just not a lot there.
Yep, I agree.
Let's see. All right, which one do you want to do first? We have two 79s. We can do the Belle of Lincoln or the Cyrus Noble.
Let's do the Belle of Lincoln.
Okay, and this one's a 90 proof from Jack Daniels.
From Jack Daniels, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
Belle of Lincoln.
So is it Tennessee or bourbon?
think it's Tennessee, and I think it was one of their decanters, if I'm not mistaken. See if I can look it up real quick.
That looked a little light color.
Yeah, it's very pale.
Yeah, look at that.
Very pale.
Super light. Okay.
Yeah, that's Tennessee.
Yeah, it's a Tennessee. It's a cool looking bottle they had though.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. It's a cool shape. It almost looks like it was supposed to like a decanter bottle, kind of. Yeah, and it looked really light there too, but lighter in my glass. Ooh, this one's kind of astringent on the nose.
I kind of feel sorry for the people that are going to watch this tomorrow
Mhm.
because I just realized something. It's just two of us,
Yeah.
you know, doing the tasting here, and I've got probably about the least educated, least sensitive palate of the entire ABV crew.
No, I think you have a great palate. I think some people are really good at putting it into words. I'm not. And I'm just like, yeah, it's good. It tastes like this. I mean, some people are like just so eloquent about it, and I'm a host, and I'm not. So sorry,
Steve,
guys, if you're watching.
Steve gives me a hard way to go for saying I like it.
Yeah.
That's what I've done for the longest time. Be like, I like it. Or if someone asks me in a comment, what do you think? I'd buy it again. Like, I'm not helpful, guys.
I just wrote a piece for Kevin Rose about how I survived the winter, and these little tastings, these Zoom meeting tastings are one of the reasons. And I like them particularly because you listen to other people talk about it. It's a learning experience. You're constantly learning something. So
Yeah.
it was a real growth experience for me.
Yeah, I like it when you get people that have more sophisticated palates and they'll throw out something weird that I've never even thought about before. Then I'm like, oh yeah, I do get that. That makes sense. I was missing that. It's nice when those people around.
Like circus peanuts.
Yeah, circus peanuts. I'm like, what? And then I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. That makes sense.
You're only going to get away with saying this is good, I like it so many times.
Right.
It's a tough audience.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, let's open up that 79 Cyrus Noble.
Now, who made this?
That is a good question. I think these would be things I'd researched before I jumped on here. Let's see.
I'm sure you did your homework.
Yeah, some of these were a surprise for me too, because when we set this one up, it was only going to be like a couple different ones, and then Steve had added a couple. So Cyrus Noble Bourbon. Where are you from? It says born in Kentucky, raised in San Francisco. So I wonder if this is sourced somewhere, or if it was back in the day. I'm not sure.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, Cyrus Noble. It's your bottle.
Okay.
What's the date on this?
This is a 79. Oh, they had all kinds of cool decanters back then too.
Right.
Little beers. That's interesting. This one kind of smells fruity to me.
It does.
And it's really light.
Mine all smell the same.
Yeah.
You know, the other night,
Hill, Bill. What are you getting off that?
I've got the green label Heaven Hill 6-year-old.
Nice.
that is one of my favorites, and I can't find it anywhere. I think they took it off the market.
Did you find any when you went to Kentucky last time, or did you strike out?
I struck out.
There was a place in Lebanon Junction next to the truck stop that had a whole bunch of these, but that was a couple of months ago. So
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things that people who know, and they probably buy up the cases or whatever's on the shelf.
right.
Because you're like, you just know.
Yeah, Fred Minnick wrote an article about it a couple of years ago. He said this is a gift that he'll give to people who tell him, "Oh, I like bourbon."
Yeah.
I shared a bottle of it with a buddy of mine here in Ohio, and he immediately said it tastes really old-fashioned.
Hmm. Interesting.
Well, on the
Like-
bottle it says old style bourbon.
It does, doesn't it? Yes, it
Yeah.
does. I'm down to two 750s and one handle.
You're just hanging on to them until you find.
Yeah, I gotta
find
make
more?
it last.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That's the handle for sure.
All right. The Cyrus Noble, like I kind of get like, I don't know, like jam, something fruity, with like a little bit of bread too. Tastes like toast to me.
I can taste the yeast in it.
Mm-hmm.
The other night, Neil Robinson described a whiskey as fastball down the pipe. I mean, it's just right down the center of your palate. This is doing that to me.
Yeah.
Not very complex.
No. But again, it's an 80 proof one, so I don't know if the proof is kind of doing something with that.
Right. We were talking the other night about one of the bourbons, and I don't remember which it was, but it tasted as if they had really put way too much water in it.
Like watered down.
Right. Now you can get an 80 proof that still has flavor. This didn't have flavor. It was just really blasé.
And that's disappointing because like if it's not good that way, it's not going to make a difference in a cocktail either. So it's just going to be a bottle that you don't really do much with. Because like there's some 80 proofs where I'm like, you know what, it's not doing a lot, but it's going to be good in a cocktail. And if it's watered down, it's already going to not be good either way. Let's see. So this next one, it's the 1980s Chapin and Gore. It's 93 proof. So let's see what this one's about.
That's a much better nose.
I don't think any of these were really horrible.
No, they're all pleasant. They're all drink. Like I think they'd be easy drinkers if you're just gonna like kick back on a porch and drink, but not super impressive to like taste through.
Right.
I like this nose though. It's like florally and light and sugary. This one kind of tastes like a rye to me.
Yeah, it's
It has
spicy.
like that, has like that rye flavor. And I always think like rye tastes grassy. I don't know what that is, but I'm always like, it tastes grassy. It's a rye. Like, I don't know how else to explain that.
Rye typically brings the heat, but I like it.
Yeah. I didn't like rye for the longest times. Like I would just drink weeded bourbons was my thing. Then I got into rye the past year and I'm like, I've been missing out on a lot of flavors. I'm missing out on a lot.
Well, it's the same way with me. Anything rye. I didn't want any bread, rye bread or anything.
Right.
Now I just eat it up. I love it.
Yeah, like those little, like, what are they? The little rye bread things in Chex Mix. I was like, get those away from me. Now I like them. I think bourbon did that for me. But
Weren't you talking about the Redwood Empire Rye recently?
yeah, we had that one a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I know I didn't get that one.
Yeah.
Steve said that he had some more samples for me.
Yeah, he'll send them out. Let him know what you're missing. He'll get it taken care of. But
We're going to get together in about 2 weeks anyway. We're going to Colorado.
oh yeah, I forgot you guys are doing that trip. That should be fun.
Yeah.
You're getting your barrel from Lenny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
Yeah, Steve was telling me that country music is his favorite, and that's all he wanted to listen to the whole trip. And
You know what? You should find out how long this trip is and make a playlist of pure country music for the duration and tell him you can't change it.
I think he would be jumping out of the moving vehicle.
He just jumps out on the interstate, tuck and roll. He would not handle it. But I would do that. Like, so here's what you do. Like, you make a playlist, but you started out with some stuff he likes, like the Rolling Stones and the Black Keys, and then just slowly get into country music, but then pop in another rock song. So he's not going to change it. He's just going to be slightly annoyed for a little bit. I would do that. I'd just throw him in there randomly.
Well, I've got a very broad listening palette. You know,
Yeah.
I like a lot of different things, except for that stuff where they growl. I don't like that.
Yeah, I'm not into that. I'm like, why do I want to listen to somebody yell at me? I don't understand that at all. To each their own, but that's not for me.
Right.
Yeah. I do a lot of country, but I like everything else too, but mostly it's country for me.
Yeah, I don't like Barbra Streisand and Cher and.
You don't like Cher though?
No.
I feel like Cher's iconic.
Now, if you're going to be playing Cher, you know, with Sunny, then that'd be different.
No, I like if you can turn back time, like she had some power ballads.
I remember watching her when I was a little kid. I'm 59.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like Cher. I don't think I'd ever sit there and like listen to a whole album, but if a Cher song comes on, I'm probably not going to change it. All right, Bob, let's do these Jack Daniels. We'll do the 70s and then the 2020 kind of right side by side just to see what the differences are. You can already kind of tell like the color difference. Like, look how darker that older one is compared to the new one.
Yeah. Big difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow, and nose wise, those are like totally different.
I have a whole new appreciation for Jack Daniels after that single barrel proof we tasted last week.
Mm-hmm.
That stuff was killer.
Their single barrels, I mean, even when they're not barrel proof, are phenomenal. Like they taste nothing like their signature profile does. Like single barrels Jack Daniels are fantastic.
That's the more reasonably priced one too. It's barely $50.
Yeah.
I was looking at that at the liquor store today. I may pop for one of those.
Yeah, those are ones to get.
There's a notable difference on the nose between the two.
Yeah, like the older one, the one from the 70s is like, I think smells like more like a whiskey, but the one from 2020, it smells like caramel corn. Like it just smells like dessert to me.
Smells like shoe polish.
We're still recording.
Yeah, that's all right.
I'll get gigged for that.
No, it's fine. Somebody might watch this tomorrow and go through a tasting by themselves and be like, yep, shoe polish is what I was missing. Thanks, Bob.
That's right.
I don't mind the smell of shoe polish. I've never tasted it though.
Yeah, I'm sure you wouldn't want to.
No.
You know, this is why I like bourbon. There's just something missing.
Yeah.
It's not as sweet as a bourbon. It doesn't have the nice finish that a bourbon does.
Right.
It's tasty, but it's definitely not bourbon.
Yeah.
You know, the new things that they have, like where they have the full proof or the single barrel or something like that, store picks, those are pretty good.
Those are very good.
But I don't care for the lower proof Jack Daniels.
Yeah, no, I like Jack and Cokes. Like I think when concerts existed, I just drink Jack and Cokes or whatever. If you're in a dive bar, Jack and Coke. If you're not drinking beer, it has its place. But do I want to sit and drink it neat? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
So what do you think? 70s versus 2020? Which Jack Daniels is standing up better?
Well, the earlier one for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a richer, rounder flavor.
Yeah. 2020 is not doing it for me. Mm. Yeah, I think 2020 is that one's a mixer for sure, but you can definitely just sip on those 1970s Jack Daniels.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm. All right, so
Back in 1981, I just graduated basic training, and me and a friend made a bet to see who could drink the most Boilermakers.
Ouch.
oh God.
I lost.
You know what?
I
There's
lost.
no shame in losing that. Like, oh, your friend's insides, my God.
Well, we both kind of lost.
Yeah, there's not a winner in that scenario.
Lost a weekend.
Yeah,
Oof.
and everything that was in my stomach.
Oh God. All right. Did you save any of the 68 bean? Do you still have some of that left?
We did.
All right. Let's run back through that one. Give it another taste. I like this one. Like it just smells like old whiskey. Like it's good.
That's great nose. Gosh, that's a great nose.
It is.
Raisins and
Oh yeah, raisins.
fruit cherries. It's terrific.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, that one is great. And then trying to find just bring more empty glasses in here. All right, 78 Ezra Brooks.
So Ezra Brooks is currently a Luxco product sourced probably from Heaven Hill. I wonder what it was in 78.
That's a good question.
Oh, can you spell Porsche?
Can you spell Porsche? That was the best moment the other night. It just caught everybody.
It kind of caught me too. I didn't realize my mic was hot.
Can you spell Porsche? I'm like, who are you asking, Freddie? Who are you asking?
My wife was on the other side of the table.
It was fantastic though. Let's see.
It happens, right?
Yeah, it happens. It was a great moment though. I think that everyone thoroughly enjoyed that.
I was a little embarrassed, but what the hell?
Yeah. So we've been talking about forever, like just quotes that come up like that, whether like in these tastings or events or even on the Bourbon Daily, like the random quotes are like, we need to just put those all on the back of a t-shirt. Like we had a list compiled a long time ago, but I don't know whatever happened with that.
Well, you did a t-shirt like that a couple of years ago. I bought one.
Yeah, a long time ago.
$5, because it was something you were trying to get rid of.
Yeah, that was a throwback one. The quotes on there were before I even started, and I've been here since 2017. So those were early quotes. But we wanted to do another one just like it, kind of like to pay homage to that, but we haven't done it. But there should be an ongoing list of
Lots of
quotes.
material available.
Yeah, there's tons of it. Can you spell Portia? It should definitely be on that.
Hey, Stephanie, you said you've been around with ABV since 2017.
Yeah.
How did you get linked up with Steve in the first place?
Just random. So summer of 2017, I did the Bourbon Trail through Kentucky, like completed it, and I posted a ton of pictures to Instagram, just bourbon distilleries, bourbon pictures. And like, you know how the algorithms like connect you with people of similar interests? Like somehow Steve and I followed each other, and I would still post dumb stuff to my stories like I still do. And he's like, "You're funny, want to come on my podcast?" I didn't even know what a podcast was. And I said yes. And then later I was like, I had to Google, I'm like, what's a podcast? I had no idea. But yeah, so I came on one show. I was supposed to be like a one and done, just a guest on the show, and then like probably to never be heard of again, like a lot of people are. And immediately after those shows that night, he said, "Hey, you were great. I need a new co-host. Can you do it?" And I was like, why not? Because I had no life at the time. Like I was working like 60 hours a week, and on Friday nights, I just stayed home and did nothing. So I was like, yeah, why not do a podcast? Why not drink bourbon with cool people? So that's how I got started. It's been that way ever since.
Yeah, those Friday night taping sessions are famous. Shows number 4 and 5 are usually better than 1 and 2.
Right.
So that's when I'm at my worst, people are like, "Oh no, it was great." I'm like, I'm embarrassed. I can't listen to my own shows sometimes. So I'm like, what are you doing?
I know this is pretty silly, but I'll be listening to the show, and all of a sudden I'll just call Steve and say, "Hey, dude, what about such and such?" And I don't know. Of course, it's way past the point for him, and it's no longer funny for him. But I'm just laughing my head off about stupid shit.
Yeah, like sometimes we forget though. So like I'll get a message or an email or something and being like, "Ha ha ha, today's show." And I'm like, "Oh, it was on today's show." Right. I don't remember. Let me go find out. But yeah, and I think that's great because like people connect with it and they think it's funny. And if it makes somebody laugh, then that's great. But so I learned the hard way though, because we do tape like 5 shows on a Friday night. And I thought I could legit do like full pours on every show. No, cannot. That was when I was like falling off couches, like all kinds of crazy stuff.
In the front porch.
And the front porch, God knows what else. But I was like, yeah, I can't do those. Cannot do those full pours and make it through 5 shows. But I learned the very much the hard way. Like doing it once or twice didn't teach me anything. It just how to get through it. All right. What did we had that the Bell of Lincoln up next. Did you save any of that?
Yep.
All right.
I think you may have said this before, but this is a Jack Daniels.
Mm-hmm. It is a Jack Daniels. It was a Tennessee whiskey and it's 90 proof.
Okay. What's the reference to Bell of Lincoln, if you know?
I think it was just a special release. They put it in that fancy decanter-like bottle. So I don't know if 79 was like an anniversary or something with Lincoln, but something to commemorate it, I guess. It was in a fancy little bottle.
I figured it was a decanter, yeah.
Yeah, it was a cool little decanter-like bottle. But look how light that is. I can't get over that, like the color of it. Probably on my black wall, that doesn't help out a lot, but yeah, look at that. That's crazy. It's good. Like, just feels like it's just like corn and alcohol. Like, really.
It doesn't drink like a 90 proofer. It drinks lighter than that.
Yeah. Not a lot on the nose though. Like nothing really stands out.
Is that typical of decanter booze? They always put pretty pedestrian whiskey in decanters, didn't they?
Yeah, I think so. And I think the selling point was, hey, look at this cool decanter.
Yeah, isn't this pretty?
I think that was the selling point, not so much the whiskey inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that did happen a fair amount, but there was also some really good whiskey put in some of the decanters, like 68, 69. Chessman was a good example.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Chessman. That was like some of the best bourbon.
And it seemed like they all had this funk, and funk doesn't necessarily sound good, but in this case, most of it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like it's like a specific funk that's different. You're never going to get out of anything else. And some of the older Wild Turkey products have that too. Oh, still 6:30.
Oh, still 6:30. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is batch 5. Just picked that up Sunday or Saturday.
Nice.
What did I read about Brecken? You're going to Colorado. I read something about Breckenridge. They just installed some new stainless steel fermenting tanks or something like that. Is that one of the places you're going to visit when you're there?
I don't know. I don't know what the agenda is. I know that we're going to go to Lenny's Deer Hammer, and I'm supposed to be dropping off some boxes for my sister that lives in Denver somewhere along the way. But other than that, I'm not sure.
Okay.
You guys should get a hook up with Nate Weingar. He can probably show you some great places to go. Or just go to his house and do his barrel picks.
I think we're only going to be there maybe 3 or 4 days at most. So I think it's kind of a limited schedule.
It's like a drive in and drive out, do your business and go kind of thing. Yeah, which is, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, but.
I wish we had more time, but.
Yeah.
It'll still be a good time.
It would definitely be a good time. Steve's probably fun in the car. He likes to call random people while he's driving.
Oh, cool. I told him he ought to record it and then he can post it on YouTube or some shit. And
yeah, he should. I like that idea. Like a whole road trip series would be so fun. I love that. It's a really fun idea.
It's minus the
updates or something like that.
Yeah.
Minus the motorhome he was talking about.
What?
Oh, he was talking about at some point, when the ABV gets real big, which I think they're pretty big now. But he said, yeah, well, I'll buy a motorhome and we'll just, he would travel the countryside. And
that works. I've been trying for years to get him to get like a headquarters in like Louisville or somewhere central to all of us and have like a Big Brother style house. I think that would be so fun. And it's been a no-go. Like it would just be a disaster, honestly, but it'd be fun. All right, I'm going to finish off this Cyrus Noble. It's also from 79. And it's really light color. I don't have a lot of that left, but it's like really light colored too. Like our first year, like the whole group went to New Orleans for the Bourbon Festival. He rented a house for all of us and it was so much fun. Like we'd get back, we'd drink at night. Jim would make us breakfast in the morning. I'm like, it's like a Big Brother house. Like I wish we would have had like cameras in there because it was the best time. Like everybody loved that house.
Right before the COVID restrictions hit, there was a house in, where was that, Louisville, we were all gonna hang out at?
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Yeah, geez, I was really looking forward to that.
Yeah. We're kind of getting back into, so next weekend we're going to Hard Truth Hills, but we could only take 10 people because it's their ATV tour. So those sold out really quick. So that's going to be fun. That's going to be our first live event in over a year. So I'm excited for that. And then I found we might do a riverboat tour in the summer. I'm going to work on that.
A lot of drunk people throwing up.
Yeah, well, but I found one. It's out of Cincinnati, so you'd get on at a Cincinnati marina, and they take you up and down the river, and it's BYOB, but we're going to do it as a tasting, like where we bring specific things for a tasting. So I think that's going to be fun. I'm working on that this week, and hopefully we can get back into live events and start seeing you guys again. That'd be great.
I'm looking forward to that. I need to get out of the house.
Everybody does. Like these events are great because I get to hang out with people and talk to people, but I need to leave my house.
Right.
Cincinnati's only 2 hours away from me. I want to get in on that one.
Yeah,
absolutely. What about the Midwest Whiskey Fest?
Yeah, Midwest Distillers Fest, Hard Truth Hills. It's in October. I think our whole team is going to be there. So that'll be worthwhile. Yeah, those grounds are beautiful. If you haven't been there, definitely check them out. But and I think, I don't know if it's the whole weekend or if it's just a Saturday, but it's going to be great.
I think it's a Saturday, but it could be a whole weekend. I'm not sure.
Yeah. And so even like if social distancing or whatever is still a thing, they have so many acres and so much space. It's going to be safe for everybody. Like they have the perfect setup for social distanced whiskey tastings.
Yeah. And now that everybody's got the shot, it should be even safer.
Yeah. I'm getting mine later this month. Nervous.
Oh, you're getting yours later this month? Which one?
Yeah. So I'm lazy and I knew I would not go back for a second one. So I'm doing the Johnson & Johnson one and done. So it's actually at the Indianapolis Speedway. Like you get to drive through the Speedway and get your shot, which is kind of cool anyway. So I'm like, one and done, perfect, sign me up. So I'm doing that one.
Yeah, I got the Johnson & Johnson. I do a lot of volunteer work at a nursing home. And
oh yeah.
They weren't going to let me in the door until I got the shot.
Right.
They've been
was it good? Did you have any side effects or anything?
The injection site's still kind of tender, and it's been almost 2 weeks now, but other than that, nothing.
Okay. That's handleable. I could deal with that.
Yeah, usually it's maybe 2 or 3 to maybe 4 days. Your arm's a little tender, but
right. Yeah, it just feels like a sore muscle. Yeah, I can handle that.
That needle is, I'm guessing, at least 3 or 4 inches long,
Yeah,
and that's honest to God.
I was amazed at the volume of serum that they injected into me too. That was probably 25 cc's, maybe more. It was a lot.
Wow, man, I'm gonna not look at any of that.
No, you really don't. You don't want to look. It's like when you go to the dentist and they give you a shot before they drill. Ain't no sense in looking at that.
Yeah, I don't need to see it. Just do what you got to do, and I'll be on my way.
You really don't want to look at the dentist because the implement that they use to inject Novocaine is huge.
I used to work in
it takes a cartridge and it looks like
I used to work at a dental office in my early 20s, and these things are like, man, like almost like barbarian. Like you would just, it's a thing, you pull it down with a spring, you shove the cartridge in it, you pierce it, and then like they were barbaric for the day and age that I worked there. They haven't changed much.
Got a real steampunk look to it.
Oh, they do. Yeah, they're hardcore. It's like some real hardware.
Hey, Bob, were you ever in the military?
No.
Okay. I went into the Air Force in 81, and I think shortly after I left basic training, they stopped doing this, but they would line people up and then they would have the people walk one step at a time. And there'd be somebody on either side of you giving you an injection with an air gun.
Thanks.
And if you moved, it would actually slice your arm.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. My brother went to basic in 2009. And he had a pretty similar experience. I don't think they've changed a lot. He's like, yeah, I don't know. You just walk through and get a shot in each arm and walk through and get another shot. He's like, I don't even know what half of it was.
I think they're using individual needles and syringes now, but at the time it was like, there's a vial of serum on the top of this gun, and I think there was air hooked up to the bottom of it.
Oh, well, yeah, it'd be much safer with individual needles.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's like, his experience, he said, was pretty much the same, like shot, march on, shot, right. Go on, shot. It's like, you don't even ask what it is, you just go.
Yep.
And then back in my day, if I'd gone into the military, I would have headed straight for Vietnam. So.
Wow.
A lot of my buddies did.
Yeah, the Vietnam era ended in what, 78, 77?
No, 74. 74, 75, yeah.
Well, the conflict ended then, but the era went on a little bit past that. So, I was in 81. I went in 81. So.
Yeah, just missed it.
Yeah, lucky me.
Count yourself.
Yeah.
Amen.
All right, you still have some of that 80s Chapin and Gore?
Just finished it.
Just finished. What'd you think?
Not much there.
Yeah, I mean,
Light
it's
on the palate.
93 proof, but it's kind of drinking like an 80 proof.
Yeah, light on the palate, kind
Mhm.
of undistinguished.
Yeah, I think it's like a little florally on the nose and the palate, which is weird because usually I get differences in those, but this one doesn't change much. Okay, and you finished that one. I still have some of that 70s Jack Daniels and the 2020. We'll try them side by side again.
I started back on that 70s Jack Daniels early. That is very good whiskey.
It is.
Rich. Yeah, that's very pleasant.
I mean, I almost like wish they could replicate this, and I don't know why they can't, but it's very good. Unless like a yeast strain or something died out, but they should be able to redo this. It's fantastic.
It's got a lovely finish on it. Honey,
Yeah.
terrific.
So do you have a favorite? Like, I think I'm kind of torn between that 68 Beam and the 70s Jack Daniels.
The 68 Beam is probably my favorite of the bunch.
I think it's mine too.
Yeah.
Mine too.
Yeah. when you're thinking back, you're like, I did have that sample. It was fantastic. It was great.
Good choice, Bill.
And I'm just like the color, the nose, everything is great about that. That's fantastic. So we actually have a lot of Beam decanters. My husband like met some guy that like he owned a bar and he was a whiskey collector, but he was selling everything. So we have about 30 decanters. Only about 8 of them have whiskey in them, and we've opened some. It is some of the best whiskey, and it's so dark, and it's totally different than anything you can buy today.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't want to drink all these decanters, but I do want to drink these decanters because they're delicious. Yeah. But they're on the shelf, but they're so good. We break them out every now and then.
Old spirits are interesting. They're different than what you can get today. I remember cleaning up my grandmother's house when she died 15, 20 years ago. I found a bottle of pre-Castro Cuban Bacardi rum.
Oh, wow. What is that like?
It had like a 56 tax stamp on it. I haven't opened it. And I probably ought to have the bottle resealed because it's lost maybe a half inch, 3/4 of an inch of volume in the neck to evaporation.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I would get that resealed or open it and see what it's about. Either way.
It's a really old school looking label too.
Yeah.
Almost primitive.
Yeah, my dad has the full set of the Jim Beam train. It's actually like on the top of their living room wall, like displayed. But all the whiskey was drank. It was my grandpa's, and he went through it. And I'm like, I wish there was still whiskey in that train. Right. But I'm like, I call dibs when you're done with it, though. It's coming to my house.
Those are cool.
It's cool. It's so cool. And he has the full train, and I've never seen it. Like people who collect it are in antique stores or resellers. Nobody has the full train, but my dad does. And it's awesome.
Well, it would be worth a lot more if it still had the whiskey in it, but I'm sure that it still has a pretty good value.
Yeah, I wish it did, but then part of me is like, well, I'm glad that it got enjoyed the way it was supposed to be enjoyed. So, there's really no loser there. So
I mean, that would attract train collectors, decanters.
Well, which is why he got it. Like my dad doesn't really care about whiskey at all, but he's like, yeah, I like trains. Like he has this whole train theme going on, and it just got added to it, and he thinks it's special because it was his dad. So that's why he has it.